Go.
The power of perspective. Hello, my name is Ozmar Martinez, and today I will argue that history is not just a collection of facts. It is a story shaped by those who tell it. This means that history can be used to influence how we see the present. For example, Christopher Columbus was taught in schools as a hero who discovered America, while the acts he committed against indigenous people are often ignored or left out. However, we are not powerless against this. By questioning dominant narratives and including more diverse perspectives, we can turn history into a tool for truth rather than deception. Many people believe history is an objective record, but in reality, it is shaped by selective storytelling, framing, and omission. I was inspired to explore this topic because I often find myself looking back to times when life seemed simpler. But really thinking back to those times, you realize that life never actually felt that easy. And sometimes we are just overwhelmed by nostalgia. And this made me wonder, if my own memories can be distorted, how much more can history be influenced by those in power? To prove this, I will examine three key perspectives. First, the scientific perspective, showing that our brains naturally alter memories, showing personal history is unreliable. And the solution would be promoting historical literacy and critical thinking skills to fight bias. Second, the cultural perspective, showing how oral or written text affect what is being remembered and what is forgotten. And the solution would be elevating marginalized voices and including more diverse historical sources. And lastly, the political perspective, showing how history is used to shape public opinion or influence power. And the solution would be demanding transparency and accountability in how history is used and taught. By applying these solutions, we can prevent history from being manipulated and instead use it as a force for truth and understanding. First, let's look at the science. If our own memories can be twisted, how much more can recorded history be changed by those in power? Neuroscientist Michel Fornaschi's research at CISA proves this. Fornaschi's research shows that the brain doesn't see reality exactly as it is. Instead, it blends current information with past experiences. In the experiment, participants were asked to estimate the size and number of dots within an image. Surprisingly, their answers were influenced by earlier images they had seen. Brain scans confirmed that the occipital lobe, which processes vision, still carried traces of past images, distorting the perception of the participants in real time. This is similar to how history is shaped. Just as our brains mix past and present, history is influenced by the memories, the biases, and the interpretations of those telling it. Since memory is unreliable, the best defense would be teaching historical literacy and critical thinking skills to fight that bias. If students and citizens learn to analyze sources, question biases, and recognize manipulation, they are less likely to believe distorted versions of history. Now, why would this work? Studies show that critical thinking skills help people resist misinformation and make better decisions. In a national study of nearly 3,500 high school students, the Stanford History Education Group found that many struggled to evaluate online information, highlighting the urgent need for better digital literacy. By adding historical analysis courses into schools and media literacy programs, we can give people the tools they need to tell fact from manipulation. Next, let's look at culture. The way history is recorded, either through oral or written text, affects what is remembered and what voices are being heard. Historian Judith Benny studied this in Maori oral narratives and Pākehā written texts. Maori oral narratives traditions use song, storytellings, and performance to pass down history, making it a living part of their identity. As Benny explains, oral traditions emphasize the connection between past and present, where history shapes who we are today. In contrast, European settlers relied heavily on written text, which seem objective, but actually reflect the biases of their authors. This fact-focused approach often erased Maori perspectives, and this revealed a major problem. Those in power control the historical narratives, while marginalized voices are often ignored or forgotten. To fix this, we must bring diverse perspectives into education, media, and public discussions. Schools should teach history from multiple viewpoints, including Black, Indigenous, and other historically silenced groups. Why would this work? A 2022 study from the American Historical Association found that exposure to different perspectives increases historical accuracy and reduces political division. By broadening historical narratives, we can make history more truthful and less controlled by those in power. And finally, let's look at politics. History is often used to shape public opinion or push certain agendas. For example, Donald Trump's slogan, "Make America Great Again," invokes a nostalgic version of US history. Critics argue it idealizes a past that excluded or marginalized many groups. By using selective history to appeal to voters' emotions and influence political identity. Joel Norberg's concept of false nostalgia explains how people imagine a better past that never truly existed. As Norberg warns, we should be aware of politicians, populists, and parents that claim things were better in the past and that we should try to recreate that former world. For example, many political campaigns often reference a mythical golden age, making it seem like everything was perfect then and terrible now. A 2021 study in Frontiers of Psychology found that nostalgia influences both conservatives and liberals in different ways, proving that historical framing directly affects political beliefs. To stop history from being misused, we must demand transparency in how it's taught in politics, fact-checking organizations, historical watchdog groups, and unbiased curriculum reforms are essential. Why would this work? In countries like Germany, strict laws against Holocaust denial help prevent misinformation. By holding educators and politicians accountable, we can stop history from being rewritten to serve political interests. Some argue that written history is more reliable than oral traditions because it's fixed and less likely to change. Scholar James L. O'Connor supports this, saying written records preserve exact details. However, this ignores the fact that history still reflects the biases of its authors. Oral traditions, though, are more flexible, preserve lived experiences, and adapt to cultural needs, keeping history meaningful and relevant. In truth, both forms are valuable, and together they provide a more balanced and complete view of the past. In conclusion, history isn't just a list of facts. It can reveal truth or spread manipulation. Our flawed memory makes critical thinking and historical literacy vital. Culturally, dominant voices have shaped our past, so we must include more diverse perspectives. Politically, history is used to sway opinion, making transparency essential. The answer is clear. Question dominant narratives, listen to many voices, and call out those who distort the past. If we do nothing, history will keep being rewritten by those in power. The time to act is now. Thank you for your time.